Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm really excited. I just got my REM Beauty concealers in, so I'm here to review those for the very first time. I don't have many things from REM Beauty. I do love the lip oil. I've tested some of the other products, but just haven't felt the urge to purchase. But I saw these concealers and I was like, I have to try those. And I love the Artistry shades. They have a white and a black. So I bought the white and then I bought an actual shade. I just picked the shade that I kind of guessed would be the closest for me. So we're gonna kind of see how it all goes. I'm very excited. So let's get started. Okay, so jumping right into it. For these shades, I purchased Fair 1, which I thought would be a good shade for me since I'm so fair. A lot of times I find that I either need to lighten my concealer for my under eye, or if I buy something in the summertime where I get tan, because I don't, I get freckles, as you can see. Then by the time the wintertime comes around, it's way too dark. So I thought this would be a really good way for my concealers to help me lighten that up. Or I'm even curious to try it as an eyeshadow base. For when I want to do a lighter, brighter eyeshadow look. So I thought, why not try that out? And then I also bought the shade Fair 9N because I tend to be more of a neutral undertone. And then I got their Dream Cloud Blender Sponge. It was just too cute to pass up. Okay, so we're gonna start with the sponge. First up, it's super cute. It's got a pointed end here and then a more rounded end here. It's supposed to be good for getting in the creases as well as just like blending out, like if you have something like a blemish you want to blend out on your face. Of course, you've got to give it a squish for good luck. I can't help it. I haven't yet met anyone that can. And then for the concealers, when you open the package, you get the little jar, which is very nice. It's glass, it's very nice packaging. But it also comes with a little spoon, kind of like you would get for a mask or for like a makeup, like removing balm. So really, really cute. You open it up and it's got a very creamy looking, it almost reminds me of when you open up butter for the first time and it's got that cute little shiny, you almost don't want to do it. Like, this hurts me. This hurts me to go into. But here we go. So we're gonna take it in here. It's not super soft, but it's also not really, really tough or firm. So I'm gonna kind of wipe it off here. And now let's just, okay, that is incredible. Super creamy. It has a little bit of like, you can tell it's a concealer. It's gonna be heavy enough for a concealer, but it doesn't feel like, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean? When it feels like you've put basically like a cake batter on your face. So it feels heavy enough of a concealer, like you're gonna get full coverage. Like I definitely feel like it covered up the veins in my hand for the most part there. You can see a little bit here, but for the most part, I just covered up like the blue veins in my hand. But again, not so heavy that it's cakey. So it should be really good for my creases and the texture under my eyes. So I'm going to start by priming my under eye. And we're going to use my Ulta Beauty under eye concealer. It has caffeine, some vitamin E. We're just gonna tap him in. And we're gonna do this before my foundation because my skin is a little bit more upset today. So I wanna see how it does with some of my texture, some of my blemishes. So I wanna see straight up before I put anything else on my face to try and cover or blur that. I wanna see how it does. So what I'm gonna do for my eyes is I wanna do one side with the sponge that I bought. And the other side, I'm going to use my Sephora 57. This is their Pro Concealer Brush. And this is what I typically prefer for my concealer. I find that I don't have as much of an issue with creasing throughout the day if I apply it with the brush. So we're gonna try it with both. So we're gonna scoop a little bit more out, and I'm just gonna apply it to the back of my hand. That way I can kind of control the amount of concealer that we're about to put on. So I'm gonna take it and I'm just gonna, again, we don't wanna go too far. So we're gonna go, so far, pretty good coverage. So I'm gonna kind of pinch a little bit, and I'm gonna try and start blending him out. I did not wet this sponge because I wanted something a little bit, I wanted the coverage to be a little fuller. I'll try and see if I can get further in that corner there. And I have contacts in, so watch me get this all over my contact and then not be able to see a damn thing. Shade-wise, I think this is pretty good. We're gonna take the round end now and try to blend out. Again, I'm trying to keep in mind I don't have foundation on yet, but it doesn't seem to be doing too badly with the lines and wrinkles under my eyes. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer. You can kind of see, again, I have these lovely lines from when I used to pull at my eyes. That's what I get for growing up in the 90s. I guess that was the thing, you know, you pull and to do your eyeliner, to do, you know, everything. You just really just didn't take care of your eyes when you're taking makeup off. So anyway, I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit, get it blended out a little bit more. The only thing I will say, even though it's pointed here on the end, I do still find, I don't know how precise I can get because it's still so, without like just going over my whole eye, because it's still rounded. So while it is working, I'm finding that I'm really having to pinch it to get in the corner. It is a cute little sponge though. I have nothing against the sponge. It's very cute. I think the coverage is very nice. I think it's blending out beautifully. Now we're gonna do the other eye. And I'm gonna take my brush and I'm just gonna dab my brush in here. And now we're gonna try and just see how it compares when using a brush. So when I apply my concealer with a brush, I don't drag, I tap. And so far, I feel like I'm getting a lot more, it's going a lot farther. I'm getting a lot more coverage, probably just because the sponge was soaking up a lot of that product. Definitely got a raccoon eye thing going on here. We're gonna just kind of brush this all over my lid. Make the most of it. Maybe try and make the most, come back over here on top. Okay, so we're still tapping. Okay, so you can see the difference here between the two eyes. This side is with sponge and this side is with the brush. I don't know what it is about my face. I just find that when I use a brush, it's a lot, the difference is huge. It's night and day. I mean, you can see how much more pronounced these wrinkles, these lines under my eyes are over here. I also have milia, which is what these little bumps are under my eyes. And I think it does a much better job of covering up the texture with the brush. So the sponge is a very cute little idea. I'm gonna take my setting powder really quick. I'm gonna use my Maybelline Fit Me setting powder. I use the shade 10, which is Fair Light. So we're gonna set both sides and see what happens after both sides are set. The good news with this concealer is that a little bit does go a long way. I really didn't have to use much. I definitely got a lot more on the brush side than I did with the sponge. But again, I don't want to say that that's not because the sponge was dry and did soak up some of the product. So even though I did pick up the same amount, I think that's probably what made the difference there. So not knocking one or the other, I'm just giving you my personal preference. So we're gonna press this loose powder in. I think here is a little bit better for my preference. I'm gonna probably apply it with a brush as opposed to the sponge. I would probably use the sponge to apply the white, the fair one. If I was going to use it for like an eyeshadow primer, I think that would be a great applicator. And same thing, it comes with a little spoon, and oh, so pretty. It's just a white concealer. So I'll swatch this one for you too. So again, it is a straight up white cream, and it blends out the same. It's so creamy. Still really good pigment, still very, very opaque, even after blending it out. So absolutely useful for, now let's take some of the extra and try and, I mean, it definitely does what it says it does. It lightens up any of the concealer. So now we've got a much lighter concealer over here. But like I said, I kind of like this white and will probably use it for a primer. I don't know how sticky it is. It's not drying down very sticky, so I probably wouldn't use it for a very heavy eyeshadow look, certainly nothing with glitter. But I also get very oily eyelids, so I find that I need a lot of tackiness for something above just a single shade, or if I'm using anything with glitter, I really have to have something tacky. So if you are used to using a concealer as an eyeshadow primer, I don't see why this would be any different. I think you'll really like it, especially if you set it. But if you have oily eyelids like I do, I find that concealers can be tricky as primers because once that oil builds up, anything on there is just going to break down and slip right off. So that being said, I think overall these concealers are beautiful. They feel really nice. They dry down very nice, very lightweight. You can see on my hand here, it's still, it just doesn't feel like there's anything on it. It's not tacky, it's not sticky. Okay, so now I want to see how this does with some of my other redness, some of my other aggravated areas. So we're gonna start with some of the redness around my nose. Again, I'm gonna take my brush, we're gonna dab into a little bit, and I'm just going to tap him in around my nose. Got a little blemish there. This is doing a really, really nice job at covering and neutralizing. I could probably have even color corrected with a little bit of green underneath, especially for whatever reason, this area on my nose gets very red. So we'll just kind of put him on and kind of blend him out and see what we get. Okay, so I think this did a really, really beautiful job covering up my stress areas, my redness around my nose, some of the blemishes I have here. You can still see a little bit of the redness, but again, I don't have any foundation on right now, and that's why I didn't want to. I wanted to see how this would cover without having a layer underneath that had already kind of blurred and done a little bit of the work. So without anything on underneath except for my skincare, this is, I would call it medium coverage. It's definitely covering the redness. definitely neutralized all of that. So depending on how lazy I was feeling, I might just put a little bit of a tinted moisturizer on over top and just go out, like leave the house. If I was just running errands, I 100% would. I think that this is really, really nice. It's a very natural finish. It's not matte. It's not super glowy. So it's a very nice, naturally radiant, it's a very nice natural finish for your skin. So why don't we go ahead and try to put something on over top? Let's go ahead and try the e.l.f. Halo Glow over top. This has been a fan favorite lately. It is a beautiful product. Very, very similar to Charlotte Tilbury. I would call it a dupe. I still gotta give Charlotte the edge though. It's just chef's kiss to both of them, but Charlotte, you still got it. All right, so we have got one coat of the Halo Glow. That is a light to medium foundation. It's buildable coverage. I just did one, so it's very light, and you can kind of see the effect. I've got a little bit more of a dewy effect now, which I prefer. And it really kind of, you can't tell that the color underneath is too light. So very blendable, wears well underneath, which is important to me, especially when I need to conceal my unhappy spots on my face. So it's extremely natural. It's wearing very well underneath this liquid foundation. I mean, this is just the most beautiful, most natural finish. And it still looks like I don't have anything on my face, which is huge. I don't have these like big white circles from where I covered this up. The foundation went over top of it nicely, even though the foundation is lightweight, which was a concern of mine. So I gotta say, 2 thumbs up to Ariana Grande. This is a gorgeous concealer. I will absolutely be using this again. I'm going to be doing a wear test, and I'll put that on my TikTok. I will do kind of an end of the day, quick little video over there, just to kind of see how it holds up throughout the day. I don't typically refresh my makeup. I sit at a desk. I have an office job, so there's not a whole lot of wear and tear, a lot of sweating. So keeping that in mind, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. That being said, this is where I'm gonna leave it because I think this is such a beautiful, natural look. The concealer is, you've got to try it out. You can get it on their website or you can find it at Ulta Beauty. So try it out and let me know what you think. And if anybody has any suggestions for what I could be doing wrong with a sponge and my concealer, please let me know. I don't know what it is. I really don't. But I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to trying new things. And if you have anything else you want to see, let me know. I'm always looking for a reason to play with makeup, to try new makeup, and I'm just happy to be here. So I hope you guys have a great day. If you're not, I hope it gets better really soon. Other than that, have a good one, be kind, and I'll see you next time.